observe them here in their sacred temple. And so it begins. As developers congregate at the event, access to the herd can be hard to come by. For some, blending in is easier said than done. To distinguish themselves, developers identify each other through decorative tribal symbols. These extraordinary plumages are designed to entice and attract. Here, a pack of rogue younglings at play. The safety of numbers allows them to... Oh, wait a moment. They have now entrapped an indigenous silver-crested king developer. Although tempting, one may look at, but not touch, the mane. The feeding frenzy at the great gathering. Moving in like a pack of famished piranhas, this frugal breed will spare no morsel. Those who can pull rank on prime cuts. The event culminates in what is known as the keynote. As the doors open, a behavioral anomaly can be found. Developers running at full speed, battling to secure a coveted front row seat. Following the ceremony, the latest beta software is unleashed. Its nature at its cruelest. Only the strongest apps will survive. The many languages of the developer are a mystery to modern science. Just look at these letters, symbols, formulas, and mumbled jargon. Only these enlightened shamans can decode their true meaning. The creative bonds formed during the Great Migration will enable these geniuses to unlock our future world. The developer is, no doubt, a species scientist will continue to study for millennia.
Good morning. Good morning. I hear the student developers. Good morning and welcome to WWDC 2018. It is great to be back in San Jose with everyone. We have developers here from all over the world this morning, from 77 countries. That's more than ever before. And I couldn't be happier to announce that we now have over 20 million Apple developers around the world. That's more than ever before. We've got 6,000 folks in the hall this morning. Welcome. And many millions more watching online. Now, the way that developers get to share their amazing work is through the App Store. Your creativity and hard work have made the App Store the best place to get the very best apps. Next month, the App Store turns 10. And in these 10 years, the App Store has fundamentally changed the way we all live. It's enabled countless new companies, created tens of millions of jobs, spawned entirely new industries, and it has forever changed our lives. The App Store is the world's largest app marketplace, and we now welcome over 500 million weekly visitors. This is mind-blowing. It's the most incredible app marketplace that the world has ever seen. We're also happy to announce that this week, we're going to achieve another huge milestone. The money that developers have earned through the App Store will top $100 billion. This is beyond remarkable. The App Store is clearly the best place for you to be rewarded for your hard work and creativity. Now, at Apple, we know that developers are a powerful group of creators, that they can achieve and they can develop anything that they can imagine with their code. We want more people to learn the power of code, and it all starts with Swift and Swift Playgrounds. We created Swift to make it so easy to learn to code that it was as easy as our products are to use. Swift is extremely popular. In fact, it's the fastest growing programming language out there. Now, Apple developers are already using it in huge numbers. In fact, over 350,000 apps have been written in Swift on the App Store. Now, we believe that coding is an essential skill and believe it should be offered by every school in the world. Now, learning to code has so many benefits. It develops problem solving and critical thinking skills. That's why we created Everyone Can Code, with free teaching and learning resources so that everyone could learn to code. It's been so successful and is now available to tens of millions of students around the world. Just imagine what this new generation of coders will create. Whatever it is, I'm sure that it's going to change the world. At Apple, changing the world and making it a better place is what it's all about for us. We aim to put the customer at the center of everything that we do. That's why, together with you, the developer community, we're working hard to provide new and better experiences for our customers to help them live a better day. And these experiences, of course, are expressed through our 4 amazing platforms. Today is all about software, and we've got some very exciting updates across all 4 platforms. We're going to get started with iOS. iOS embodies our philosophy of putting the customer at the center of everything that we design. Every year, we deliver a major iOS update that brings awesome new features that will impact the world. To tell you all about what we have planned for this year, I'd like to introduce Craig Federighi. Craig.
Hey, good morning. All right. Well, our next big release of iOS is, you guessed it, iOS 12. Now, our customers, of course, are going to receive iOS 12 as a free software update. Now, it's easy to forget now, but iOS pioneered this approach of helping you get more out of the device you already own through free updates. And some of those updates have been really quite profound, like the App Store, giving us a whole new way to discover and download apps. It itself was delivered via software update, as were the folders we use to organize those apps. And can you imagine living without Find My iPhone, or iMessage with its end-to-end securely encrypted messaging, or the revolution in iPad productivity with slide over, split view, and drag and drop, or AR, changing the way we interact with the world around us, all delivered via software updates. And of course, we want to get these improvements to as many of our customers as possible. iOS 11 supports devices that were introduced as far back as 2013, like the iPhone 5S. And we just love the way customers race to update to our newest releases. In fact, half of our customers upgraded to iOS 11 in just 7 weeks. It's incredible. Now, as we stand here today, 81% of our over 1 billion active iOS devices are running our latest release. And now, when you look at the competition, well, it's hard to say they really have a software update model. iOS has the fastest adoption of any operating system, but what's much more important to us is customer satisfaction. And we're thrilled to report that customer sat for iOS 11 is at 95%. Now, delivering all of these features across such a wide range of devices while maintaining high performance is a challenge we take really seriously. And so for iOS 12, we are doubling down on performance. We're working top to bottom, making improvements to make your device faster and more responsive. And because we want these changes to be available to the full range of our customers, iOS 12 will be available on all the same devices as iOS 11. This is the largest base ever supported by an Apple release. And we're focusing our efforts especially on the oldest devices. And while it's still early days, we're really pleased with some of the results we're seeing. And so I'd like to share some with you. And I'm going to use an example of a popular phone from a few years ago. This is the iPhone 6 Plus. Now on that device, iOS 12 delivers a number of improvements across common operations. You'll see that apps launch up to 40% faster. The keyboard can come up to 50% faster, and you can slide to take a photo at up to 70% faster. Now, our deepest focus this year is optimizing the system when it's under load. And that's where you need performance the most and where iOS 12 really shines. Now, we've put iOS 12 through our stress test, and we saw in those conditions Share Sheet coming up twice as fast and apps launching twice as fast. These are big, big improvements. Now, this took changes, thank you very much. This took improvements in many, many places in the system, and I want to highlight just one, and it starts with the silicon. You know, our tight collaboration with our chip team has enabled us to optimize iOS across the full range of our A-series silicon. Now, CPUs traditionally respond to increased demand for performance by slowly ramping up their clock speed. Well, now in iOS 12, we're much smarter. When we detect that you need a burst of performance, like when you begin scrolling or launching an app, we ramp up processor performance instantly to its highest states, delivering high performance, and then ramp it down just as fast to preserve battery life. Now, these are just some of the improvements that are coming to not just our older devices, but the full range of devices. And that's a quick update on performance. Now, if this is all we've done in iOS 12, I think it would be a great release. But we've done more, much more. And we have a lot to cover today. And it starts with augmented reality. You know, yeah. Now, AR is transformational technology. By bringing experiences into the real world, it enables all kinds of new experiences, changing the way we have fun and the way we work. And in iOS 12, we've wanted to make an easy way to experience AR across the system. And to do that, we got together with some of the greatest minds in 3D at Pixar. And together, we created a new file format for AR. It's called USDZ. And it's a compact single file format that's optimized for sharing while retaining great 3D graphics and even animations. Now, you can use USDZ across the system, from the Files app to Safari, to even sharing them over messages and mail. And what's great is you can place these 3D objects into the real world. It's something that's like AR Quick Look. It's really awesome. Now, we want all kinds of creatives to be able to create content for AR. And so we're working with the leading companies for 3D tools and 3D libraries to bring their support for USDZ. Now, one company that's been all in on USDZ and ARKit is Adobe. And to tell you about what they're up to, I'd like to invite Abe Parasnis, their CTO, to the stage. Abe.
Thanks, Craig. It's great to be here this morning. So at Adobe, we believe augmented reality is an incredibly important technology. And with ARKit, Apple is by far the most powerful platform for AR. So earlier, Craig talked about USDZ format. It's actually a pretty big deal. There is now a way to deliver AR experiences across the entire iOS experience. And so today, we are actually announcing that we are going to bring native USDZ support to Adobe's Creative Cloud. With Creative Cloud, designers and developers will now be able to use familiar apps that they know and love, like Photoshop or Dimension, to create amazing AR content and bring it easily via USDZ. And of course, we're not going to stop there. We are going to bring the power of immersive design to Creative Cloud with a new set of services and applications, including a brand new iOS application that's going to let all of you design amazing AR experiences quickly. So you will be able to bring in images, videos, text, any object from Creative Cloud directly into a native AR environment. In fact, for the first time with Creative Cloud and iOS, you will have a what you see is what you get editing in AR. It's pretty cool. So come join us this afternoon, State of the Union, where we're going to give you a sneak peek of some of these new immersive design tools for the first time. Thanks. Back to you, Craig.
Thank you, Ave. Now, a critical part of enabling AR is accurate measurement. And fortunately, the precise calibration of sensors in iOS devices and our tight hardware-software integration mean that we do this really well. And we wanted to enable everyone to take advantage of this capability. So we're introducing a new app, and it's called Measure. It makes it really easy to measure objects, detect rectangles and get their dimensions, and measure lines along surfaces. And I'd like to show it to you now. Now, in looking for something to measure, I ended up digging through the attic and came upon my old suitcase from my traveling days in college. A lot of memories in here. Now, I'm actually in the Measure app. You see, I can easily measure along this suitcase by just tapping and dragging out a line like that. And check that out. It's a measurement. Now, what's really cool is I can extend these measurements. So I can just tap, drag along another edge just like that, and even take it into full 3D by dragging down to the bottom like that. Isn't that cool? Now, I mentioned that we could automatically detect rectangles and show you dimensions of objects. So I have a photo here, actually. It's one my mom always wanted me to travel with of me as a baby. And so, you see, what I can do with Measure is it automatically detects the dimensions of that photo. I can just tap and get, oh yeah, cute little baby, wasn't I? And you can get measurements just like that. It's really fantastic. Now, I'd like to turn now to USDZ and its support throughout the system. You know, you can experience USDZ in so many places, and one of those places is news. Now, here's an article, and we're all accustomed to seeing images in news articles. But check this out. Here you see a USDZ asset, and I can just tap on this little 3D control and jump right in and experience it. You can see the amazing animations that are possible. And of course, it's fully interactive. So I can zoom in and pan. Isn't that amazing? Now, USDZ is also great in the web. So here I am at the Fender website, and they actually let you configure your guitar with the kind of finish and pickguard that you want. So I can select a configuration option here, and then I can see the guitar I've configured. So I'm just going to tap in. Of course, I can see the guitar here, but wouldn't it be cool if I could see it in the real world, in its real size? Well, there it is. Check that out. think I'm going to capture that for posterity. And that's a quick look at USDZ and Measure in iOS 12. Next, thank you. Next, I'd like to talk about the key technology behind these augmented reality experiences, and that's ARKit. ARKit opens up the world of AR to hundreds of millions of users, making it the world's largest AR platform by far. And we're on a relentless pace of advancement with AR, and that continues today with ARKit 2. ARKit 2 delivers advances with improved face tracking, more realistic rendering, and support for 3D object detection and persistence, which enables launching into AR experiences associated with a particular object or a physical space, like starting a game built around a physical toy, or having a physical classroom serve as the foundation for a lesson that was authored in AR. But probably best is the support for shared experiences. Now, this delivers true multi-user augmented reality. You and the people around you will be able to see your own perspective on a common virtual environment. And to help all you developers get started, we created this sample app written in Swift that you'll all be getting today. Now, check out how both players and even a third observer can all experience the same environment in real time. It's really fun. Now, we've also brought in a select few developers into our labs over the last couple weeks to work with ARKit, and they love it. Now, one of them is Lego, and what they've done is so fun, you just need to see it. So I'm pleased to invite Martin Sanders, Director of Innovation of Lego, to the stage to give you a live demonstration. Martin.
That's great, thank you very much. Creating and playing with physical Lego sets brings great joy to millions of children and Lego fans all over the world. And now, with ARKit 2, we get to expand those creative possibilities like never before and take things beyond the physical. What we try to do is combine physical and digital together to really open up those creative play possibilities. Because our Lego sets are really the start point for all of those children's imaginations. And when we get a chance to really embed ARKit 2, it takes it to the next level. Let me show you what I mean. Here we have Assembly Square. It's one of our Lego creator sets. And already it has so many great details, it's awesome to play with. But wouldn't it be great if we could take things even further? Well now, with 3D object detection, we get to recognize our models and bring them to life. And just look at all of those rich details we can now bring into our sets. Because when we combine physical and digital together like this, it really opens up those creative play possibilities. And there's so much to do here. If you see these icons above people and objects, well, they represent missions and stories that we can explore. And with a world as rich and as immersive as this, who wouldn't want to play? So let's add a character. How about this little guy here?
Welcome back. Let's go on an adventure.
Awesome, let's go on an adventure. But going on an adventure with friends is often way more fun. So Anders, why don't you jump on in here?
I'm always up for an adventure.
Perfect. Because now, with ARKit 2's multi-user support, we get to play with up to 4 friends in the same space. Let's go ahead and add a few things from our collection, Anders.
Okay, I will add a bank over here.
Very nice, I like it. How about taking this for a spin?
Ah, that's cool.
Because just look at all those rich details you can see on the outside of the building and even on the inside. Yeah, I think I'm going to add this guy. He's definitely going to keep the bank safe. Oh look, my character's hungry. Let's take him over to the bakery. Well, let's see what they have. Because now with ARKit 2, we get to see inside our physical creations and check out all the details that were hidden before. Got a ballerina, little music session going on. And looks like a bathroom or something. Oops, sorry. Moving on. Oh, another play trigger in the bakery. Let's see what happens when I click on this. Oh, that doesn't look too good. Anna's, got a situation. I'm going to need your help over here.
Okay. I've got a fire truck.
Perfect. You put out those flames while... Oh dear. Somebody's got themselves trapped on the roof. So I'm going to use this helicopter to go and pick up these clowns. How are you getting on down there, Anders?
I'm almost done.
Great, those guys are safe. And the flames look like they're almost out. Perfect, we did it. Yeah, and what? Good job, Anders. And we even unlocked a new item for our collection. But the fun doesn't need to end there, because with ARKit 2, we get to save our entire world back into our physical set and pick up where we left off. Right, that's awesome. So much fun. But what makes this truly amazing is that with just a single Lego creation, an ARKit 2, it really opens up those creative play possibilities. So look out for more Lego AR experiences in the App Store later this year. Thank you very much, everybody. Awesome.
Isn't that great? So that's our update on AR in iOS 12. Next, I'd like to turn to photos. You know, over 1 trillion photos are captured on iPhone each year. And photos is the best way to relive and share those moments. This year, we're making photos even better, and it starts with search. Search has powerful object and scene recognition. It lets you search for photos based on things like searching for cars, or dogs, or flowers, and it's a great way to explore your library. But in iOS 12, search now starts working for you even before you start typing with search suggestions. It'll highlight things for you like key moments and people that are important to you, places where you've taken some great photos, and even categories of photos like hiking and water sports. And search is much more powerful than ever. You can search for places by business name. So you could search for SF MoMA or even a broad category like museum. And Photos indexes over 4 million events by time and place, things like sporting events and concerts. And so you can search for them and find photos you took at those events. And search is super powerful. You can now search for multiple search terms, like surfing and vacation, and even get suggestions for additional search terms to help you find exactly what you're looking for. And now in iOS 12, we have an all-new tab. It's called For You. And with For You, you have all of your memories, those great memory movies, but more, like featured photos, highlighting a photo that you took on this day in past years. And effect suggestions, for instance, suggesting looping a live photo or applying a new portrait effect to one of your portrait photos. And we even highlight your shared album activity. Now, when it comes to sharing, there are many ways you can share photos, but our focus is on sharing great photos with the people you care about most. And that's why this year in For You, we've added sharing suggestions. So imagine you've gone out for a great dinner with some friends and you took some photos. Well, afterwards in For You, you'll see a suggestion like this to share those photos. If you tap in, you'll see that Photos is even recommending a set of photos from that set that you might want to share, and suggests who you might want to share them with, based in part by the people that appeared in the photos. When you share them, they're shared at full resolution out of your iCloud photo library, and when your friend receives them, something really magical happens. Their phone searches their libraries for other photos they took at that event and suggests that they share them back to you, so you both can end up with the full set. Now, this is built around iMessage, so of course it's private using end-to-end encryption, and all of those smarts are done with on-device machine learning. So that's your quick update on Photos in iOS 12. And next, let's turn to Siri. Now, Siri is by far the world's most used digital assistant, with over 10 billion requests processed per month. And because Siri works across all your devices, it's always there to help you through your day getting things done. Now, we all know that Siri works with many third-party apps for things like messaging, ride-sharing, and payments. But we wanted to make Siri able to do much more for you. And we're doing that by taking advantage of the power of apps with a new feature we call shortcuts. Now, with shortcuts, any app can expose quick actions to Siri. Let's look at some examples. Now, say you have the Tile app because you're always losing your keys. Well, the Tile app can expose the option to add a shortcut to Siri. You can assign your own phrase, such as, "I lost my keys," would be a good choice. And when you then say it, Siri will automatically activate Tile and show you right in the Siri UI, start ringing your Tile just like that. It's really great. Of course, there's so many uses for this kind of thing. You could say game time to get your team's schedule from TeamSnap, or help me relax to kick off a meditation, or order my groceries to order your usual. You know, with millions of apps, Shortcut enables incredible possibilities for how you use Siri. Now, as you know, Siri is more than just a voice. Siri is working all the time in the background to make proactive suggestions for you, even before you ask. And now, with shortcuts, Siri can do so much more. So for instance, let's say you order a coffee every morning at Phil's before you go to work. Well, now Siri can suggest right on your lock screen that you do that. You tap on it, and you can place the order right from there. Or if when you get to the gym, you use Aptiv to track workouts, well, that suggestion will appear right on your lock screen. And this even works when you pull down into search. You'll get great suggestions, like say you're running late for a meeting, well, Siri will suggest you text the meeting organizer. Or when you go to the movie, suggest that you turn on Do Not Disturb. That's just being considerate. And remind you to call Grandma on her birthday. Just tap, and it'll dial the call for you. Now, we think we're all going to really enjoy using shortcuts. And so we went a step further. We wanted to let you create your own shortcuts as users of multiple steps across multiple applications. And we're doing it with a new Shortcuts app. So with the Shortcuts app, you could do something like create a shortcut for surf time. And it could go get you the surf report, look up the current weather, get you the ETA to the beach, and even create a reminder for you to put on sunscreen when you get there. Now, it's all done with simple drag and drop steps in the Shortcuts editor right here. It's really easy. Now, to show you how shortcuts can streamline your day, I'd like to invite one of our leaders from our Siri Shortcuts project, Kim Beverett, to the stage to give you a live demo. Kim.
Greg. I am so stoked to show you Siri Shortcuts. To do that, I'm going to walk you through my day. So imagine it's the morning, I'm headed to work, and I pick up my phone, and I see this suggestion from Phil's Coffee. Siri has learned that I do this most mornings, so now I can just tap on the suggestion, and I see all the details I need to confirm my perfect mint mojito right here on the lock screen without even going into the app. So let's get caffeinated, and I'm done. Fast forward a little bit, and I'm sitting at my desk at my office, and I need to know when my next meeting is. I'll go to the Up Next widget, and it looks like I'm running a little late for a rather important meeting, so I should probably let someone know. And it looks like Shortcuts is a few steps ahead of me. I could call into the meeting, or I could let the organizer know that I'm running late. I should probably tell Ari what's up. That looks like just what I want to say. Sorry, Ari. Let's send it. Perfect. I also want to show you how you can add a shortcut to Siri. So let's take a look at Kayak. I keep all of my travel details in Kayak. Most important is my post-WWDC relaxation trip to Los Angeles. You can see I've got my flight, my hotel, all the details, everything I need. But what I really want is to be able to use this and get to this information with my voice while I'm on the go. So let's head back. And I can just tap Add to Siri, record my custom phrase, travel plans. And I am done. So now, when I land at the airport and I'm about to get in the cab and I could really use that hotel address, I can just say, travel plans.
Kayak says, your hotel is at 929 South Broadway. You can check in after 3 p.m.
Isn't that cool? It's pretty cool. So I would love to be on that vacation, but I should, I don't know, probably finish this demo. So let's head back to work, and I can show you how the Shortcuts app can help me with my commute home. We start in the gallery, where there's hundreds of pre-made shortcuts that you can download, or we can hop over to the library, and I've got a bunch of shortcuts here, but I want to show you my heading home shortcut. You can see that it's just really a series of steps. It grabs my location and my travel time, and it sends my ETA to my roommate. It sets my HomeKit thermostat to 70 degrees, and it turns on my fan. And last, it gets directions home with Apple Maps with the best route to avoid traffic. Now, this is already pretty cool, but I happen to be an NPR News junkie, so I should probably just add that to my shortcut to save me some trouble on the ride home. Let's tap Search. And there's a bunch I can add here, but I can just tap Siri Suggestions. And there it is, play KQED radio. We'll drag this in, drop it, and we're set. I've already added this shortcut to Siri with the custom phrase heading home. So now, whenever I leave work, I can just say, heading home.
You will get there in 1 hour. I sent a message to Cheryl. Your thermostat is set to 70 degrees, and I turned on the fan, playing KQED radio.
Right? That's Siri Shortcuts in iOS 12. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim. And that's Siri Shortcuts. It works on iPhone and iPad, and of course, you can run your shortcuts from your HomePod and your Apple Watch. That's your quick update on Siri. Next, let's talk about apps. And to tell you about the latest, I'm going to hand it off to Susan. Susan.
Hello. Thanks, Craig, and it is so great to be here. I'm excited to tell you about some great updates in some of our most popular apps, starting with one of my favorites, News. So, News is a personalized feed where you can see all the stories you want to read pulled together from trusted sources. And our top stories are handpicked by the Apple News editorial team to make a great collection of curated content. With our new Browse tab, you can discover new channels and topics, and we've made it even easier to jump to your favorites, because that's why they're your favorites, right? News shines on the iPad. We've added a new sidebar, and it's a great way to navigate. It makes it easy, and I think fun, to dig into the areas you're most interested in. So that's News. Now, we've completely rebuilt the Stocks app, and it's got a beautiful new design. Of course, you can still see the stock prices and the changes at a glance, but we've added spark lines, those little charts, that show the stock performance throughout the day. And that's cool, but are you ready? We are so excited to announce we're bringing Apple News to Stocks. I'm really excited about that. And the top stories in Stocks features business news, right? Curated by the Apple News editors. It's pretty terrific. You can tap on any stock to get a more detailed view, so you can see an interactive chart that now includes after-hours pricing. And you see relevant headlines from Apple News curated by our Apple News editors. So it looks great. And if you tap on one of those headlines, you'll see the full article without leaving the app. And of course, it's formatted to look gorgeous on the iPhone. Now, with iOS 12, we're bringing Stocks to iPad. It's pretty great, and we take advantage of the larger display so you can keep your eye on your stocks on the left while you browse through your financial news. It's a pretty great experience. Next up, voice memos. We've also completely rebuilt voice memos to make it even easier to use. And we're bringing voice memos to the iPad for the first time. Importantly, we've also added iCloud support, so your recordings stay in sync across all your devices. We think iPad users are just gonna love this. And we think that iBooks is the best way to discover and experience ebooks, as well as audiobooks. And with iOS 12, we're introducing an all-new design. And we think the update is so great, we're calling it Apple Books, a new name. Very dramatic. We dropped the I. Apple Books has some great new features. For example, Reading Now, with a preview that makes it really easy for you to pick up reading right where you left off. And there's so much more, including a stunning new store that makes browsing through your ebooks and audiobooks better than ever. We love these updates, and we think you will too. But we also have a smart and safe way to use your apps in the car. I think you know I'm talking about CarPlay. CarPlay already supports third-party audio and voice messaging, voice calling and messaging apps. You probably know that. But what you might not know is with iOS 12, CarPlay will also support third-party navigation apps. So now you have even more choices when you use CarPlay. That is a really quick look at some of our app dates. And Craig, back to you.
Thank you, Susan. Well, now I'd like to take a moment to talk about something that's on a lot of people's minds lately. You know, iPhone and iPad are some of the most powerful tools ever created for learning, exploring, and keeping in touch. But some apps demand more of our attention than we might even realize. They beg us to use our phone when we really should be occupying ourselves with something else. They send us flurries of notifications, trying to draw us in for fear of missing out. And some of us, it's become such a habit that, we might not even recognize just how distracted we become. Well, we've thought deeply about this. And today, we're announcing a comprehensive set of built-in features to help you limit distraction, focus, and understand how you're spending your time, and balance the many things that are important to you. Now, it starts with Do Not Disturb. There are times of the day, or times when you just don't want to be disturbed, and one of those, of course, is at night. Sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night and you look at your phone, maybe just to check the time, and you're confronted with something like this. Barrage of notifications that spin you up and keep you from falling back asleep. And so we're introducing Do Not Disturb during bedtime, where all you'll see is this, nothing to get you spun up. And in the morning, in the morning, when you wake up, you're gently eased into your day. You can tap when you want to start confronting those notifications. Now, we've all found ourselves in situations like this. Now, rest assured, he stuck the landing on this one. But now, Do Not Disturb can help. And we made it easier than ever to use Do Not Disturb, because now we have a great new mode where when you press into Do Not Disturb in Control Center, you can set an ending time for Do Not Disturb, for when you leave a particular location or when an event ends on your calendar. So I think we're all going to be using Do Not Disturb a bunch more. Now, next I want to talk about notifications. Now, notifications help keep us informed and connected to important things that happen throughout the day. And we'd like to give you more control over how many notifications you receive. And so we're enabling what we call instant tuning for notifications right from the lock screen. You can press in to a notification, and from there you can decide to send future notifications from that app directly to Notification Center, bypassing your lock screen, or turn them off altogether. And Siri will even help by suggesting that you turn off notifications for apps that you're no longer using. Now, we also wanted to give you help managing large numbers of notifications. So I'm thrilled to announce that we're bringing to iOS support for grouped notifications. Notifications are grouped not just by app, but also by topic and thread. It gives you a great overview of the notifications you've received. You can tap in and look at a particular group, but of course, just as important, with a single swipe, you can triage a whole group of notifications away. So that's notifications. Now, in addition to these great features for helping you limit distractions, we wanted to go further. And it's with a feature we call Screen Time. Screen Time empowers you with both insight and control over how you spend your time. And it starts with reports. Every week, you get a weekly activity summary that details how you used your iPhone or iPad. You tap in, and you get to view your full activity report. It's really detailed. You get deep insight on how much time you're spending, where you're spending it, and even how your use breaks down during the day or the night. You get a summary of the time you're spending in apps, how much time you're spending, how often per hour you're picking up your phone and what's drawing you in, and what apps are sending you the most notifications. Now, equipped with this insight, you can make decisions about how much time you want to spend with your device each day. But we know there are people who would like a little extra help in managing their use of apps. And for them, we've created app limits. So if in your activity report, you see an app where you might want to be spending a little bit less time, well, you can set your own limit. And then during the day, when you're using the app, you'll receive a helpful notification letting you know time is almost up. And once you've reached your limit, instead of the app, you'll see this. It's time to move on. Now, we'll let you grant yourself an extension if you want, but we'll give you a reminder later to move along. Now, this is also in sync across your iPhone and iPad, so your limits apply to your total usage. And we think this is going to be helpful for many people, but especially for some kids. And we know this is something that can help families achieve the right balance for them. And of course, it starts with providing your kids with great information so they get an activity report of their own. But as a parent, you get one as well on your device. And based on what you see, you have the option of creating allowances. And now, you have many options. One of them is downtime, time when you want your kids to unplug altogether, for instance, at bedtime. And you can also limit your kids' time in apps by category or by individual app. Now, there's some apps you may want to always allow them to use. For instance, you may want them to be able to get at the phone at all times so they can contact you. Or you may want to give them access to educational apps. And you can also limit access to only movies, apps, and websites that you deem age appropriate. Now, this works, of course, across their iPhone and iPad, and it uses family sharing, so it's super easy to set up. And you can manage it all remotely from your parental device. And so that are some great screen time and some great features to help you better manage your time. Now, next, I'd like to talk about one of the most important uses of our devices, and that's communication. And we'll start with messages. Messages has given us fun ways to express ourselves with emoji and now Animoji. And one of the things that make Animoji so fun is how expressive they are. You know, from smiles to frowns to nods of the head and blinking of the eye. Animoji do such an amazing job tracking our expressions. And this year, we're taking Animoji to a whole new level, the breakthrough new technology we call tongue detection. That's right. now you can make your favorite Animoji do this. We're all going to be sticking out our tongues to our phones in the near future. Now, we're also introducing some great new Animoji that I think you're all going to love, like ghost, koala, tiger, and T-Rex. But we wanted to take Animoji even further by making them even more personal. So I'm thrilled today to announce the arrival of the era of Memoji. That's right. With Memoji, you can create your very own personalized Animoji. Now, these Animoji can look like you or the real you. And we've worked hard to build a deep set of customization options to let our customers create an incredibly diverse set of Memoji. It's really incredible what you can create. And we've designed a beautiful new experience to create these Memoji that makes the process fun and easy. Now, to tell you more about it, I'd like to invite one of the managers of our messages and Animoji features, Kelsey Peterson, to give you a live demo. Kelsey.
Good morning. I cannot wait to tell you what's new with messages. Let's get started with Animoji. First, you need to meet the newest members of the team. We've got a new cat in town, our tiger. She's so cute. And now, my personal favorite, the koala. Oops. Just getting excited, scrolling through here. They can't all be cute and cuddly, though, so here's our T-Rex. And we have our very own friendly little ghost. So much fun. And if I swipe right, here's where I can create my very own Memoji. Let me show you just how easy it is. I recently chopped my hair, so I want one that matches the new me. So I've selected a skin color, and now I'm trying to figure out just the right amount of freckles. It's a real Goldilocks scenario. Yeah, these are just right. Okay, on to the main event. There are so many hairstyles to choose from. First, I'm gonna grab my color, and then like I said, I need to go a little bit shorter. All right. Nope, this is the one. Now that I'm all set, I can of course select my eye color. And what's really amazing is as I'm making changes, the character up above is coming to life. There are tons of options for me to customize. I could add earrings, but what I really want is a great pair of sunnies. So I'm gonna come over to eyewear and pick out some frames. Maybe not for today. Think I need 2 lenses. These are the ones. Now that I have frames, I'm gonna tint my lenses to make a great pair of sunglasses. Perfect. Okay, I think I'm all set. I'll tap done, which saves my brandly created Memoji right here into the drawer alongside the rest of my team. And that's how simple it is to create your very own Memoji. Now I have a brand new feature to introduce you to. This wasn't even in Craig's slides. We are bringing fun effects into the messages camera. Let's take a look. I have a message here from my partner. It looks like he's informing me that he's bought our dog, Ferdinand, yet another tiny dog hat. This isn't even the first. I think this is the perfect opportunity for a response with this new, fun camera. So I'll tap to pull up the camera, and then I can see this little star over here on the left. Tapping on that gives me a strip with all sorts of new effects. So I could add things like shapes or text, but let's check out these filters. Ooh, so this is Comic Book. It's really fun, but for a response about a tiny dog hat, I think I'm gonna go in a different artistic direction. So what I really need to do is add a sticker from one of my favorite sticker packs. Ferdy looked really excited about that new dog hat, so I'm gonna put him right here. And now we have an all-new way for you to use Animoji. I can apply my favorite Animoji right here, live. Here's the Memoji I just created, but I actually have just the one. It's of me in a very similar red hat, which is kind of perfect for twinning with my pup. So I'm gonna set up my shot, snap, and send. And that's a demo of the fun new effects and messages. Back to you, Craig.
So that's Memoji and some fun new effects in the camera and messages. Next, let's talk about FaceTime. Yeah. FaceTime is the way that so many of us connect with the people in our lives and share some of our most important moments. And it's helped us deepen our connection with people important to us wherever they are. And of course, it's a fun place just to hang out. Now, this year, FaceTime is going to take a big leap forward, because today we're introducing Group FaceTime. Now, you'll be able to FaceTime with 2 people, 3 people, actually up to 32 simultaneous participants. Now, setting up a group call couldn't be easier. Just instead of typing one person's name, you can do many. You can ring them by tapping audio or video. But we also introduced a great new way, because FaceTime is now integrated into messages. So you can quickly go from a group chat you have going directly in to a group FaceTime. And members of the group can join in and drop out at any time. It's really great. Would you like to see it? Well, let's do a demo. Well, I think for our first live demo of group FaceTime, I'm going to contact the folks back in Cupertino. Now, I can just dive into this conversation I have going with the members of the FaceTime team. And it looks like actually they're already on a group FaceTime call, so I'm just going to join right in. Hey, everybody.
Hey, Craig.
Now check it out. So it's this beautiful FaceTime UI. We have these big, gorgeous tiles right up front where you see some of the leaders of the FaceTime team. And down at the bottom, there's an area we call the roster that contains everybody else. And of course, I'm right there in the lower right-hand corner.
Hey, Craig. Wait, am I on the big screen?
Yes, Lauren, this is not a test. You're in front of 6,000 of your biggest new fans. Give it up for Lauren. Now, what you probably noticed is when Lauren spoke, her tile automatically got larger to reflect her prominence in the conversation. This is totally automatic. Hey, Roberto, how's it going back there in Cupertino?
I'd say it's going pretty well. And Lauren, sorry for stealing your spotlight.
So this works, of course, for people in the roster as well. When they speak, they come forward. Hey, Christopher, you ready to make your big entrance?
Finally, my moment has come. Hello, world.
Now, well done. Now, you can control this too. So if I want to bring Woody front and center, I just double tap. There he is. Now, Woody, your baby is performing admirably here.
Thanks, Craig. It's exciting to finally be able to share group FaceTime with everyone.
It sure is. Now, we have not only all of this, but we've also brought the fun effects to the FaceTime camera. I can just tap in and I have access to Animoji, filters, and all of my sticker packs. And everyone else on the call can apply them too. Wow, now this is the future.
Hey, Craig, check this out. I'm a comic book koala, something I've always wanted to be.
I'm glad you've finally been able to express that side of yourself, Roberto. Hey, Tim, is that you?
Yeah, it's me. I signed up to help test FaceTime.
All right. Well, thank you, Tim. Every little bit counts.
Happy to help, and thanks to everyone on the FaceTime team for making it a reality. I can't wait to start using it every Sunday night to call the leadership team.
Looking forward to that, Tim. Of course, what I'm really looking forward to is getting group FaceTime to everyone on iOS 12. Thanks, guys, for a fantastic call. We'll see you back in Cupertino.
Bye, Greg.
So that's group FaceTime. It works on iPhone, iPad, and Mac, and you can even answer an audio on your wrist on your Apple Watch. So that's FaceTime and messages, and this is iOS 12. Improved performance, new AR experiences, Siri suggestions, screen time, Memoji and fun effects in the messages camera, and group FaceTime. I hope you like it. I'm going to hand it back to Tim. Thank you.
Thank you, Craig. iOS 12 looks fantastic, and we can't wait for everyone to get their hands on it. Next up, we'd like to talk about the Apple Watch. Yeah. When we began development of the watch many years ago, we had a vision for just how impactful and essential it could become in our lives. So we worked very hard to create something that you would love and want to wear all the time. And customers do love it. In fact, Apple Watch is #1 in customer satisfaction. And not just this year, but every single year since we launched in 2015. And growth has been off the charts. Apple Watch grew 60% last year. We're constantly hearing from customers about the many ways that the Apple Watch has changed their lives. And I'd like to share just one of them with you this morning. Mary Dobjan was boating with her husband, John, when due to a medical condition, all of John's muscles went completely limp, and he fell into the ice-cold water. With her arms wrapped around John to keep him from drowning, Mary could not reach her phone to call for help. But with her Apple Watch, she was able to call Siri, or to use Siri to call 911. Rescuers soon arrived and saved John's life. As Mary told us, if it wasn't for my Apple Watch, he really would not be here today. This is just one of the many stories that we've heard about how Apple Watch is impacting people's lives. They range from getting people to be more active, to helping users live a healthier life, or even to alerting users to an elevated heart rate. Apple Watch brings such amazing capabilities right to the wrist. And of course, at the heart of this is watchOS. We're excited to introduce watchOS 5 today, which brings even more ways for you to stay active and connected. And I'd like to hand it off to Kevin Lynch to tell you all about it. Kevin?
Good morning. You know, stories like that about how Apple Watch is supporting people around the world in even extreme situations like Mary and John's, but also in their daily lives, is really super motivating to us as a team. And there are things you do every day that shape your life. And Apple Watch has 2 key areas it's working to help you support those activities every day. First, staying active to increase your well-being and health. And second, being connected to the people and the information that you care most about. We're moving watchOS forward in both of these areas. Let's start with health and fitness. Now, much of the power in the health and fitness features that we put in Watch are really empowered by the investment we do to make sure the data you see is accurate. The data from our custom-built heart rate sensor, accelerometer, gyro, GPS are all thoroughly validated. In fact, from our fitness lab, we've studied over 6 terabytes of data, where 12,000 study participants logged over 90,000 hours of sessions. They actually burn 2.3 million calories doing this. We believe this is the largest biometric data collection of its kind. And we take this information and we work to integrate this seamlessly with the user experience. So when you raise your wrist and you look at your activity rings, the information is not only accurate, but it's also meaningful to you. And we really love hearing about your focus on closing these rings. And we really enable this through a number of ways in Apple Watch. First, of course, we do daily coaching, so you can see what your goals are for the day. We also support celebrations when you achieve your goals. And we have special edition challenges, like the most recent Earth Day challenge that we did. And on a monthly basis, we do monthly goals that are personalized to you. And of course, the Activity app also supports activity sharing, which has become one of the most popular features of the Activity app. Many of you love the excitement of good old-fashioned competition, though. So in watchOS 5, you can challenge any of your activity-sharing friends to a 7-day competition whenever you would like. And if they accept, you each try to win the week by closing your rings and earning points. You earn 1 point for each % of a ring that you close. And while you're in the middle of a competition, your progress notifications are updated to not only show you the progress your friend's making, but also where you stand in the competition. And when you win, you receive a new award. We're really excited about this addition, and if you're competitive, it gives you a whole new way to enjoy the Activity app. Now, when you do want to go do a workout, there's a lot of workout types you can choose from. And they all have custom algorithms to measure things like calorie burn, pace, distance, elevation gain. And when you're swimming, it even counts laps and detects what swim strokes you're using. And with GymKit, your metrics are in sync with your favorite gym equipment. We're really excited to bring more enhancements to workouts in watchOS 5, starting with a new workout type for yoga. Now, this works primarily from your heart rate. And we calibrate this to your fitness level through the rest of your day. So now you can more accurately track those yoga sessions, including those intense vinyasa sessions. Now, we've also added a new workout type for hiking. This takes into account pace and heart rate and elevation gain, so you can more accurately get exercise credit while you're hiking in steep terrain or really long stages. And Apple Watch has become a really great running companion, especially now that we've added GPS and cellular and music streaming. We're making this an even better experience now for training runs and races. In addition to current and average pace, you now have the option to keep track of your rolling mile pace, which is how fast you ran the immediately preceding mile. You can also now set a custom pace alert, so your Apple Watch will tap you when you're above or below the pace that you've set. And finally, runners will now get cadence, so you can see your current steps per minute. We're really excited for runners to try these out. Now, there's sometimes when you forget to start a workout on Watch, but you've started working out. And to solve this now, we're adding automatic workout detection. So your Apple Watch will now offer to start tracking a workout if it senses that you're beginning one. And even if you press start sometime after you began working out, you'll get retroactive credit for the workouts that you did. And these start alerts will support all these great workouts on Apple Watch. Now, when you reduce the intensity of your movement or your heart rate decreases, but you forget to end your workout, of course, Watch will also detect that and suggest that you stop. So all these new features, activity competitions, the new yoga and hiking workout, new features for runners and automatic workout detection are all enabling you to more accurately track your workouts and stay motivated while you do. Now let's talk about being connected. Apple Watch enables you to remain in the moment while also easily connected to the people and information that you care about. And the introduction of cellular made this even better. You can stay connected even when you're going out for an evening, running some errands, or even going for a swim. Or stay in touch when your phone might not be easily available to you. And staying connected with people you love is something that our customers love about Apple Watch. You can easily make or receive a phone call, and you can hear the emotion and tone on the other end of the voice as you talk in real time. Or you can use messages to have impromptu, short conversations with loved ones in a message thread. In watchOS 5, you'll have an entirely new way to communicate on your watch. That's real-time voice, but with the spontaneity of short messaging.
Did you steal my chips?
Maybe.
I cannot wait till you go to college.
Introducing walkie-talkie. This is a new app on Apple Watch. It's a fun, easy way to talk with friends and family. Let's take a look at how it works. First, you choose who you'd like to enable walkie-talkie with, and it suggests some people that you often communicate with, so you can easily add them. Now, the first time that you do this, your friend will receive a one-time request to allow a walkie-talkie connection with you. If they accept, then you can speak to each other with walkie-talkie whenever you like. And to do this, you just press to talk, and then your friend can hear your voice just like a walkie-talkie. And they're going to feel a haptic and hear a beep-beep sound right before your voice comes out. And this new watch-to-watch connection works over cellular or Wi-Fi. It has really high audio quality, and it's a lot of fun. We can't wait for you to try this out. That's walkie-talkie. Now, last year, we introduced a Siri watch face, which presents the right information to you at the right time. And Siri does this using machine learning, so it's going to get better at predicting your actions over time by combining inputs like the time of day, your location, your daily routines, or which apps you use when. We're making some great enhancements to the Siri watch face now. First, we're adding new content. So now you can get live sports scores, you can get commute time home or to work, or you can see your heart rate, for example, after a workout, or your resting heart rate. And we're also adding Siri shortcuts. Those shortcuts you saw coming to iOS 12 are also going to be available in watchOS. So in addition to getting relevant information, you'll also receive predicted shortcuts right on the Siri watch face. So at a wrist raise, you'll be able to directly do things like turn on your leaving home scene, or start an outdoor walk, or play your favorite morning playlist. And these shortcuts appear based on whether you typically do those actions at those times. So super easy now to just tap and do those actions. Also, for the first time, you can now use third-party apps on the Siri watch face. So now you can see both relevant content and shortcuts from your favorite apps. So if you always go running with Nike Plus Run Club at a certain time, or you're logging your meals with Lose It, or you use Citymapper to find your commute home, you just raise your wrist and tap. It's that easy. So new content, support for shortcuts, and third-party apps making for an even more powerful Siri watch face. Now, currently, to talk to Siri, you raise your wrist and you say, "Hey, Siri." And when you think about this, it's quite a strong signal when you raise your wrist and talk to your watch. It's kind of like when someone's standing right in front of you. You don't need to say, "Hey," because you have their attention already. So we're bringing this same social cue to Siri on the watch. So you no longer need to say, "Hey, Siri." You just raise your wrist and talk to Siri. Now, we're also bringing a number of improvements to notifications, which are now more actionable and interactive. So, for example, with this notification from Qantas, you can check in and share your flight details right from the notification. After you finish a ride with Didi, you can scroll down, you can rate your ride, and pay with Apple Pay right there in the notification. And with this one from Yelp, that your table is ready, if you need a bit more time, you can extend the reservation out a bit just by tapping here. So super easy now to interact right in place inside notifications. We've also improved our message notifications. Today, if someone sends you a web link, you aren't able to view it on your wrist. With watchOS 5, we've integrated WebKit, so now you have the ability to view web content in mail or messages. You can even tap on that link. Yes, and to easily view things like menus here. And while we think full browsing doesn't make sense on your wrist, there are times you get content you'd like to see it right in the moment, and now you'll be able to do that in watchOS 5. And the contents can be formatted for the small screen, and where reader mode's available, it uses that on the watch. So WebKit on watchOS. Now, with watchOS 4, we introduced an entirely new way to listen to music while you're on the go. You can stream 48 million songs on your wrist with Apple Music, or you can listen to automatically synced and curated playlists. And now, with watchOS 5, we're giving you even more to listen to. That's right. The Apple Podcasts app is coming to Apple Watch. Upcoming episodes from subscribed podcasts will be automatically synced to your watch, so you can get them right there. Or you can just ask Siri to stream a podcast for you, and it'll start playing. And playback resumes across all your devices, so you can continue just where you left off. So that's podcasts. Now, those are the great new features coming in watchOS 5. to stay connected with people and information that you care most about. Interactive notifications, web content, new content and shortcuts in the Siri face, podcasts, and of course, walkie-talkie. Now, we'd like to show you this stuff live in action, and we thought we'd increase the challenge a bit in our live demo here today to keep it interesting. So Jules, who helps lead our fitness experiences, is actually going to do the demo while biking. So Jules has expertise in coaching, and she knows how to move and demonstrate and motivate all at the same time. Take it away, Jules.
Thank you, Kevin. I've got some great stuff to show you that I think you're really gonna love. And bonus is, I get to work on closing my rings while I do it. So first, I'm super excited to show you how easy it is to start a workout with Gym Kit. I just tap to connect and accept on the watch. And now I can control and start the workout right here from the console on the bike. All of my data between the watch and the bike is in sync, and all of my workout metrics are accurate. Now, I wouldn't typically be trying to demo things for you and sneak in a workout at the same time, but I want to show you activity competitions. And to do that, I need to keep moving. This morning, I got this notification, and it says, your competition with Jay is down to the last day, and it's a close one. Have you got what it takes to win? Have I got what it takes? You bet I do. But if I scroll down, I can see that Jay has moved ahead of me by a couple of points, and that's not okay because this thing ends tonight. So I think I'm gonna add a little resistance to this workout here and work to earn as many points as possible and move ahead of Jay by the time this demo's done. I can simply tap here and send him a little smack talk to let him know I'm coming for him. Let me show you interactive notifications because I have dinner reservations tonight that I made through Yelp. If all goes well here, I'm gonna go out with my girlfriends from work to celebrate. And because we all know that Jay's gonna lose this competition, maybe I should invite him along so it can be his treat. Now I can simply add to the number of guests and confirm right here in the app without ever having to open it. It's that simple. Now in watchOS 5, notifications from apps are smartly grouped together. And here are a couple messages from my friend Catherine. We're trying to get to a yoga retreat this summer, and it looks like she sent me a link. Now I can tap it here and see if she's found somewhere great for us to go. Oh yeah, this looks beautiful. I'm already in, but I could continue to scroll through the site, maybe read a little bit more about the retreat, even check the dates to make sure that they work. And I can do all that right here from my wrist. Let me show you the enhancements that we've made to the new Siri watch face. At the top here, you see the workout that I'm in right now. And when I'm ready to get back to it, I can just tap. Next up is Glow Baby, because it's about this time each day that I check the app to see if my husband has logged our one-year-old's nap. Oh, good job, baby. He slept 2 hours. And you parents know that good naps equal good nights, so I'm looking forward to that. All right. As I scroll through my day, I can see my next meeting. I can see traffic and directions to places that I'm going later today. Here's that dinner that Siri found in my calendar. And waiting for me at the end of my day is a shortcut to my evening meditation with 10% happier. Nice. Now, I want to check back in on this competition, but I thought it might be a good idea to get a little moral support from my #1 fan. And you heard Kevin say how walkie-talkie is so great for staying in touch with close friends and family. So I set my daughter up with walkie-talkie so that she can help demo what it's like to receive one and maybe give me a little bit of love up here. Oh, there she is.
Mommy, I see you on TV.
Isn't that fun? How am I doing?
So good. I know you'll beat Uncle Jay. Hashtag mommy for the win.
Thanks, Peach. I love you. And that's how walkie-talkie works. All right, the time is now to check in on this competition and see if I have done enough to pull ahead. I'm gonna tap into activity and swipe over to see the score. Oh, yes. Sorry, Jay, but the day is still young. Thanks, everybody, and back to you, Kevin.
Way to go, Jules. So in watchOS 5, we've enabled even deeper integration on the watch for apps, enabling them to work right in the moment. And apps can include interactive controls within notifications, so you can quickly do more without even opening an app, like extend your parking with Pay by Phone. And with shortcuts, there's also new opportunities for third-party apps to appear on Apple Watch right on the watch face. You can tap on a shortcut on the Siri face to order coffee, rent a bike, or pick up where you left off in a workout. You can even use your custom Siri commands that you created on your phone to speak on your watch. And for native apps building rich experiences, we've improved the Workout API for greater performance, and we've added the ability for third-party apps to play background audio. This enables you to easily sync things, of course, like audiobooks, favorite playlists, guided meditations, right to your watch, and they'll be able to play continuously in the background. Now, there's so many other features coming in watchOS, including things like the ability to customize the button arrangement in your control center, or you can add an air quality complication to your watch face. But one really exciting one is student ID cards. You're going to have the ability to add your student ID card to Wallet on your iPhone and Apple Watch. And this works by simply holding your watch near a reader. Anywhere you can use your student ID cards on and off campus, you can get access to places like your dorm or the library or events on campus. You can even pay for things like snacks or laundry or dinners. And this works with your watch or your phone, and it will be available this fall, starting with these universities, and will expand to more campuses over time. Now, this is also Pride Month, and we're really excited to introduce an all-new Pride Edition watch band. And we didn't stop there. We made a beautiful new face that matches perfectly with the band. And the face and the band are available today. And if you'd like to use the new watch face, you can choose to add it from the watch face gallery starting at noon today. That's just some of what's coming in watchOS 5. Thank you very much. Back to Tim.
Thanks, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. watchOS just keeps getting better and better, and we're excited for you to try all of these great new features to help you stay more active and connected. Next up is Apple TV. Last September, we introduced Apple TV 4K, and our customers love it. Since its introduction, the Apple TV business has grown an incredible 50%. Today, we've got some great new enhancements to Apple TV 4K and tvOS, and we think you're going to love them. So I'd like to invite Apple TV lead designer Jen Foltz to the stage to tell you all about it. Jen?
Thanks, Tim. Apple TV is built on an incredible platform, tvOS. And tvOS is built specifically for the living room to make it easy to enjoy your favorite TV shows, movies, apps, and games. Now, as Tim mentioned, last September, we introduced Apple TV 4K with the goal of bringing the highest quality cinematic experience right to your home. It offers both 4K and high dynamic range, including support for HDR10 and Dolby Vision. Time said the new Apple TV is a high-fidelity powerhouse. And to ensure you can enjoy this beautiful experience with as much content as possible, iTunes offers the largest collection of 4K HDR movies. And we've upgraded your previously purchased movies to 4K HDR for free on all available titles. There are also, thank you, there are also many 4K and HDR TV shows available from popular services like Amazon Prime Video and Netflix. And we know what makes for an amazing cinematic experience is not just great picture quality, it's also incredible sound. So Apple TV 4K is bringing you the latest in audio technology. Dolby Atmos. With Atmos, you get room-filling sound, the perfect complement to the stunning visuals of Apple TV 4K. Now, what makes Atmos so special is that unlike a traditional surround sound setup where sound is assigned to channels like the left or the right, Dolby Atmos has the ability to completely immerse you. Atmos moves sound in three-dimensional space, creating an experience with powerful audio that flows all around you. It puts you right in the center of the action. All this with a home theater setup as simple as a Dolby Atmos-enabled soundbar and an Apple TV 4K. In fact, Apple TV 4K is the only streaming player to be both Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos certified. And this fall, iTunes will be bringing you the largest collection of Atmos content anywhere. And just like with 4K HDR, your iTunes libraries will be upgraded to include Dolby Atmos on all supported titles for free. Now, of course, these movies and so much more are available in the Apple TV app. The Apple TV app is the center of your video experience, a single place to find and watch what you love across your favorite apps. It's on Apple TV, iPad, and iPhone, where you can find not only on-demand TV shows and movies, but also live content, including sports. The Apple TV app now offers a huge range of live sports. And we've added live news to make it even easier to stay current. The addition of live sports and news providers brings the coverage of the TV app to over 100 video channels, giving you a massive selection of content all in one place. With all this, Apple TV is the best box to connect to your TV. And that's now more true than ever, as more and more cable companies fundamentally shift how video gets to your TV. This typical cable box is becoming a thing of the past, as these companies embrace internet-based delivery. And many of them share our vision of Apple TV as the one device for live, on-demand, and cloud DVR content. And we've already started working with partners around the world to make this a reality. In France, we're working with Canal+. Almost a third of French households subscribe to Canal services. And their subscribers can now choose Apple TV to access more than 100 live channels and some of the biggest sports, including the French Open in 4K. In Switzerland, we've partnered with Salt. Salt just launched a new TV service with more than 300 live TV channels, and it's available exclusively on Apple TV. And I'm really excited to announce that here in the US, Charter's Spectrum will be coming to Apple TV late this year. That means that up to 50 million homes will be able to choose Apple TV to access all their live channels and thousands of on-demand programs. And they'll be able to use Siri and the TV app to get access to their TV service, not only on Apple TV, but on iPhone and iPad as well. Now, with nearly any cable subscription, you can get access to dozens of video channels, like ESPN, Showtime, NBC, and many more. But it used to be really painful to set up, having to authenticate each app individually. I'm sure all of you have seen that 6-digit code you have to go online and type into a web browser. Well, last year we introduced single sign-on. Enter your cable credentials only once, and we unlock all of the apps your subscription supports. Well, now we're making it even easier with zero sign-on. So now, if you're on your TV provider's broadband network, we'll securely and automatically unlock all the supported apps included with your TV service. No credentials needed, it just works. Charter's Spectrum, this is really awesome. And Charter's Spectrum will be the first to support zero sign-on, and we'll be adding more providers over time. We're also giving you even more options for ways to control your Apple TV. For example, you can get quick access on your iPhone, where Apple TV users will get the Apple TV remote automatically added to Control Center. And for those that have installed home control systems, we're working with the leading providers so that you can use their remotes to control your Apple TV, even including support for Siri. At Apple, I love working with an amazing team, designing for a product that I enjoy every day and on the biggest screen in my home. I get to watch all my favorite movies, TV shows, and more. Over 48 million songs, including the best metal on Apple Music. All of my photos, videos, and memories, as well as thousands of apps and games that many of you have built. And Apple TV brings some amazing views right to my living room with aerials. Now, one of the questions I get asked the most about aerials, especially by my family members, is, where is this? Well, this fall, with just a tap of the Siri remote, you'll now be able to see every aerial location. And you can even swipe between locations, so you can see even more. And today, I have an incredible new location to share with you. For the past year, we've been collaborating closely with an amazing partner, filming some stunning footage from around the world with a very unique vantage point. And here it is. Earth. This is filmed by astronauts aboard the International Space Station. You can see Sicily just off the boot of Italy, and check out that Mediterranean Sea. The blue is just phenomenal. So here's a fun fact. The space station makes an orbit every 90 minutes. So that means they get 16 sunrises and sunsets every day. And with all those sunsets, nighttime can be particularly stunning, the way those urban areas pop with light. Here we are flying over South Korea toward Japan. You can see Tokyo coming into view at the top, some distant stars, and even the upper reaches of the Earth's atmosphere, which is that orange band enveloping the Earth. And here's one that might look a little more familiar. This is the Northern California coast heading southward. You can see Lake Tahoe surrounded by snowcaps and the San Francisco Bay. These are truly incredible and offer such a unique perspective on the world. I'd like to give a huge thanks to the International Space Station National Lab and CASIS for all their help in making this a possibility. These are going to look incredible at home in 4K HDR. So that's tvOS. Apple TV gives you amazing picture and sound with 4K, HDR, and now Dolby Atmos. And the Apple TV app is the center of your video experience. Available on Apple TV, iPad, and iPhone, it's the one place to find all your favorite TV shows, movies, sports, and news. And with that, I'll hand it back to Tim. Thank you.
Thanks, Jen. Apple TV 4K and tvOS look and sound awesome. You're really going to love it. Next up is the Mac. At Apple, yeah, we love the Mac. The Mac was the first computer that made powerful technology so easy to use and put the customer at the center of the experience. And of course, that remains at the core of all Apple products. For more than 30 years, the Mac has empowered people to create all kinds of amazing things, from the personal to the professional. Today, we're excited to take Mac a huge leap forward. The next version of macOS is chock full of new features inspired by pro users, but designed for everyone. I'd like to bring Craig back up to talk about it. Craig?
Hello again. It's true that macOS is the heart of what makes a Mac a Mac. And we want as many Mac users as possible to have access to our latest software. And that's why 6 years ago, with the introduction of OS X Mavericks, we began offering our macOS updates free for Mac users. And 2013 was also the year that we first introduced our California naming theme. Now, after spending a year by the ocean, we not only modernized the look and feel of macOS, but we headed to the mountains with macOS Yosemite. Now, as you may be aware, our naming of Mac releases is handled by our crack marketing organization. And as you probably noticed, they went on a 4-year mountain-bound bender. In El Capitan, we added Metal, our groundbreaking graphics technology. In Sierra, we brought Siri to the Mac and extended our capabilities and continuity. And last year, with High Sierra, we focused on deep technology, preparing the Mac for future innovation. Well, this year, we've made some striking changes to macOS. And we've left the high country for a place entirely different but no less beautiful here still in California. And I'd like to take you there now. Our next release of macOS is macOS Mojave. Now, Mojave is beautiful during the day, but what really captured our imagination was the beauty of the desert at night. And this inspired one of our most distinctive new features, and I'd like to show it to you now. So here we are live in macOS Mojave, and I'd like to show you a new side of Mojave. We call it dark mode. Now, as you see, dark mode is not just about the dock or the menu bar. It extends to your Windows Chrome, your sidebar, and even the content of the windows. And it's so great for pros. It makes photographic content absolutely pop off the screen. It's just gorgeous. So nice. And this is great not just for photography, but when working on presentations or documents. It's also great doing ordinary things if maybe you're working in a dark environment. You just look at calendar and even mail in dark mode. It's so great. And I think some of us are going to want to run dark mode just because it's so cool. I mean, your emoji look great. Your photos look great. I mean, check out your album art in music or your For You feed in Apple Music. But I think one audience that's going to especially appreciate dark mode are some of you here in this room, our developers, because Xcode looks fantastic in dark. Whether it's your source code or even interface builder and all of its inspectors, they just look fantastic in black. And that's a quick look at dark mode. Now, we were so inspired by this changing desktop wallpaper that we decided to add a new feature to Mojave that I think you'll enjoy. It's called Dynamic Desktop. And when you're using it, your desktop actually subtly changes throughout the day, from morning to afternoon to evening. It's really cool. Now, there's much more to Mojave that I'd like to share with you through demos, and it starts with the desktop. Now, the desktop is so crucial to how many of us use our Macs. When we have files that we're actively working on, we often put them on the desktop, but the result can be a desktop that looks something like this. And so now in Mojave, we have a really great solution, and we call it Desktop Stacks. All of the contents of your desktop are automatically arranged into these stacks. And they can be arranged by kind, by date, or even by tag. And they're really easy to use. You just click on them, you can see all the contents in the stack, you can double-click to open a document, and put it away. And they stay organized. So for instance, if I bring forward mail, maybe I drag an image out, I want you to watch what happens, because the image flies right into the right stack. Now, you can also scrub your stacks. So for instance, I'll just scrub across this stack. You see I can select between different photos, pick one up. Actually, let me just hide mail here. Mid-drag, got a little excited with my, with all of my stack action. So I can just drag this out and drop it in just like that. And that's a quick look at stacks. Now, we've also brought some great new changes to the Finder. I'd like to show them to you now. Now, it starts with a new view. We all enjoy using icon view, list view. There's, of course, column view, but now we've added an all-new view called gallery view. It has a big preview up top, a set of thumbnails along the bottom, and it makes it easy to preview images, video, presentations, documents, spreadsheets, PDFs, and of course, with images, sometimes you want to know more detail about, for instance, how they were captured. And now the new sidebar in Mojave really helps because it now supports full metadata. So you can see around your photo the camera you took the photo on, the kind of lens, the aperture settings, and so forth. It's really handy. And you'll notice also along the bottom, there's this new area called Quick Actions. And quick actions let you act on the current photo. So for instance, if I have a photo like this and I want to edit it, I don't have to open it and go or do a new app. I can rotate it right here inside the Finder. It's really powerful. Now, this sidebar is available in other views of the Finder. So for instance, I'm just going to bring up the preview pane here, and I'm going to do a multi-selection of a PDF as well as several images. And you'll notice that the Quick Actions area is contextual. So it shows me Create PDF as an option. I'm going to click Create PDF, and it's going to assemble all of these photos into a PDF just like that. But what's really great is these actions are also customizable. So you can create automator actions and assign them to buttons here inside of Finder. So you'll notice that now that I have this PDF selected, I have an option to run a custom automator action that I've created called Watermark PDF. When I click it, my custom action runs, and my document is watermarked, just like that. And those are some quick enhancements to the Finder. Now, a tool that I think many of us love when working with files is Quick Look. And now in Mojave, we've made Quick Look more powerful than ever by integrating markup. Let me show you how it works. So you see down here, I have a permission slip in its PDF document. I'm just going to tap spacebar to quick look it. And you notice now I have the option to invoke markup. I click, and now I have access to my markup tools, including my ability to sign this document. I can just drag out my signature like this, and I'm done. Now, this works for all kinds of files. So for instance, with images, I can rotate and crop. And with video, I can even trim right here inside of Quick Look. That's a quick look at Quick Look. Next, I want to talk about how we capture content on our Mac, because one of the tools I think many of us use all the time is screenshots. And we've made screenshots more powerful than ever in Mojave. So let's take a look here at a web page, and I'm just going to take a screenshot in the traditional way. I'm going to screenshot a selection of the page, and I want you to watch what happens in the lower right. I get a thumbnail instantly of that screenshot. And when I double click in, I get an accelerated workflow right into markup where I have access to all of my tools. So for instance, if I want to create a magnification here, I can just drag that out, magnify. It's that easy. But now we've also made it easier to access a variety of tools. So when I bring up my screenshotting, you see I am presented with this HUD that tells me I could capture the entire screen, a selected window or selection, but we've also added screen capture for video right into screenshotting. Let me show you how that works. So I'm going to go to a web page here that has an animation running. And I'm going to bring up my screenshotting tools and say to record the selected area. I'll just make a nice selection here. Okay, and I'm recording just like that. Of course, I can manipulate the app, so all will be reflected in my recording. And when I'm done, I can click the stop button right up here. And now you notice I have this thumbnail in the lower right. Well, I can actually pick this up and drag it into a new space and incorporate it right into a document, just like that. Now, we further enhance the way you capture content, and that brings me to continuity. So Mac users love continuity for the way it lets us work across our devices with things like AirDrop or the ability to unlock your Mac using your Apple Watch. When it comes to capturing content, we all walk around with one of the best content capture devices in the world in our pockets, our phones. And so we wanted to take advantage of continuity to bring that to the Mac with a feature we call Continuity Camera. Let me show you how it works. So here in my keynote presentation, I have a space that's just waiting for a new photo. And I have my phone right here. Well, when I select this object, I can choose to take a photo. And I want you to watch what happens when I select this to my phone. It automatically, immediately lights up, ready to take a photo. So I can take one like this. And when I do, I can select Use Photo, and it appears directly in my document. Isn't that cool? Now, this works as well for scanning documents. So here I have a place where I could use a scan. Once again, I'm going to select from the menu, and this time Scan Document. Again, my camera lights up, this time right in my document scanner. I just scan like this. I can save it. And my scan goes immediately in. I think I forgot to push the Save button. Sorry about that, everybody. There you go. Appears immediately in my document. Thank you. And so just like that, I can take photos, stills, and even capture video. And this is a quick look at some great new features in Mojave. Next, I'd like to turn to apps. We are bringing news to the Mac. Now, news has all of the stories you've come to expect from news on iOS, and they look amazing on the Mac display. You get top stories picked by our editors, trending stories, you're personalized for you, and that's not for me. And you also get this great new sidebar where you can drill in and jump right to the topics and channels you follow. News is going to be great. We also have stocks coming to the Mac. Now, you get your stock prices combined with high-quality business news. It's delivered from Apple News. Shows you your watch list with your prices on the left. You can even drill into this interactive chart to get more information. And of course, great news. We're also bringing voice memos to the Mac. Now, voice memos is the most popular voice recorder on iOS. And so many of us use it to capture music recordings or lectures. And now that voice memos syncs via iCloud to your Mac, you can take those recordings that you make and, for instance, drag them right into GarageBand as the foundation for a song. Finally, thrilled to announce Home is coming to the Mac as well. You have all of your accessories here. You can run your scenes as well as monitor your video cameras. And, of course, with Siri, you can command your home with your voice. So those are 4 great new apps coming to Mojave. Thanks. Next, I'd like to talk about security and privacy. You know, one of the reasons that people choose Apple products is because of our commitment to security and privacy. And we believe that your private data should remain private. Now, not because you've done something wrong or that you have something to hide, but because there can be a lot of sensitive data on your devices, and we think you should be in control of who sees it. Now, to begin, we protect your information on your devices using state-of-the-art hardware and software. And this year, we're adding greater protections about how apps can access that information. Today, Apple devices check in with you before granting an app access to information like your location. You can tell because you'll see an alert just like this one. And macOS already provides API-level protections for things like contacts, photos, calendar, and reminders. But now in Mojave, we're extending these protections to include your camera and your microphone, as well as protecting sensitive parts of your file system, like your mail database, your message history, and your backups. And all of this is protected by default for any app that you run on the system. Important protection. Next, I want to turn to some great enhancements to Safari, because Safari works really hard to protect your privacy, and this year it's working even harder. Last year, we introduced intelligent tracking prevention to dramatically reduce the ability for apps to track you across websites using cookies. This is the kind of thing where you look at a product on one site, and then you move to another site, and somehow this is just following you wherever you go. Well, we've all seen these like buttons and share buttons, and these comment fields. Well, it turns out these can be used to track you, whether you click on them or not. And so this year, we are shutting that down. Now, if you do want to interact with one of these, or one of these apps tries to access that information, you'll get this, and you can decide to keep your information private. Now, next, let's talk about fingerprinting. You know, data companies are clever and relentless. And in addition to cookies, they use another method called fingerprinting. And here's how it works. Just like you can be identified by a fingerprint, it turns out that when you browse the web, your device can be identified by a unique set of characteristics, like its configuration, its fonts that you have installed, and the plugins that you might have on the device. And these data companies can use this set of characteristics to construct a unique fingerprint to track your device from site to site. With Mojave, we're making it much harder for trackers to create a unique fingerprint. We're presenting web pages with only a simplified system configuration. We show them only built-in fonts. And legacy plugins are no longer supported, so those can't contribute to a fingerprint. And as a result, your Mac will look more like everyone else's Mac, and it will be dramatically more difficult for data companies to uniquely identify your device and track you. Now, we're bringing all of these new protections to Safari on both Mojave and iOS 12. Next, let's talk about the Mac App Store. And to do that, I'd like to invite to the stage Ann Ty, our product marketing manager for the App Store. Ann.
Last year, we launched a completely redesigned App Store on iOS. Every day, we celebrate apps, games, and developers. We've written more than 4,000 stories for the New Today tab, and hundreds of them have each been read by more than 1 million people. The response has been incredible, and we've learned a lot. We've got a bunch of great new features coming later this year that we'll cover in sessions. This year, we are turning our attention to the Mac App Store. Since it launched in 2011, it's changed the way we download and install software for Mac, making it easy with one click. It's the biggest catalog of Mac apps in the world. It's also a trusted and safe place to download software, and trusting where you get your apps from has become more important than ever. Developers can distribute their apps to 155 countries and get worldwide payment processing, and it offers seamless software updates from one place. This adds up to a great experience for our users. We've spent a lot of time thinking about what people do on their Macs and wanted to create a place organized around those themes. So we've redesigned an all-new Mac App Store from the ground up, and we're thrilled to show it to you now. It's got a beautiful UI that should feel familiar, but new, and designed first and foremost to be a great Mac app. Starting with the new Discover tab, where each week you can find in-depth editorial about the best Mac apps through stories and collections, and see what's most popular with top charts. Here's a story about musician and founder Kareem Morsi. Learn about how he uses his app, DJ Pro 2, and get inspiration for your own set. Helpful videos autoplay so you can see what apps are capable of before downloading them. Visit the all-new Create, Work, Play, and Develop tabs, where you'll find helpful recommendations and expertise around each theme. Here's the Create tab, where you can find apps that bring your artistic ideas to life. These tabs will also help you make the most of apps you might already have, with tips and tutorials even the most expert users will find useful. The Work, Play, and Develop tabs share the same beautiful design, and you can still browse by category on the Categories tab. We've redesigned product pages too, bringing many features over from iOS based on our learnings there. It has more useful information, like video previews, available on the Mac App Store for the first time, and apps rank if it's charting and if it's been named Editor's Choice. Ratings and reviews are now front and center, and these are so important for app discovery. So we're introducing a ratings and review API for Mac apps. Now it'll be easier than ever for people to leave feedback. We're really excited about the all-new Mac App Store. We've talked to some developers already, and they're really excited too, like Microsoft, who will bring Office 365 to the Mac App Store later this year. And Adobe is bringing Lightroom CC. Panic is bringing Transmit. And Barebones is bringing BB Edit. And many more great names are coming to the all-new Mac App Store too. We can't wait for you to check out the new Mac App Store. Now I'll hand it back to Craig.
So we think the Mac App Store is going to inspire whole new generations of apps. And so we want to talk about some of the technologies that will be behind some of that next generation. We spoke earlier about ARKit. I want to talk about two more. And let's start with Metal. Now, Metal is the technology to get the highest performance graphics and computation from graphics processors. Metal was designed for modern GPUs. It's incredibly efficient. And that enables amazing console-level games like Fortnite from Epic to run great for the first time on mobile. But Metal also enables these games to scale to take full advantage of modern Macs. In fact, across iOS and the Mac, there are over 1 billion Metal-enabled devices. And we're constantly making Metal better. To bring the highest GPU performance and reach of all Macs, we've recently added support for external GPUs. And this is powered by Metal. And the results are truly mind-boggling. For instance, running a filter in DaVinci Resolve, look at how it scales on the incredibly fast iMac Pro as you add up to 4 eGPUs. Now, the results are even more staggering when you take a 13-inch MacBook Pro and add eGPUs to it, achieving up to 8.5 times speed up. It's pretty awesome. Now, eGPUs also enable Macs to achieve all new levels of performance and realism in 3D rendering and gaming. Now, this beautiful forest you see here, this isn't a video capture. This is from Unity's new Book of the Dead interactive demo, and it's being rendered live right now on a MacBook with an eGPU powering this display. I mean, doesn't this look amazing? Now, of course, because this is rendered live, we can check what's up ahead. So let's start walking. Now, Unity is using Metal's unified graphics and compute to generate real-time lighting and complex post-processing effects. It's so cool. And that's all rendered live on a MacBook running with an eGPU. It's pretty great. Now, another place where we're doing incredible acceleration with Metal is in machine learning. And today, ML specialists usually use one of these third-party libraries to train their models using servers. And now it turns out we can accelerate tools like this with our new Metal Performance shaders. We're seeing speed-ups of up to 20 times in using the GPU with Metal instead of CPU-based training. And while speeding these tools up is great, we actually think there's a better way for most developers. And that's training on the Mac you already have, using a great new tool we call CreateML. Now, CreateML is designed to let you train without being a machine learning expert. You can train vision and natural language models. You can bring your own custom data, and it's really easy to use because it's all built in Swift. In fact, you can use Xcode playgrounds to train your model. Just drag one in, their training set, and you can drag in your test set as well. And the training is all GPU accelerated, so it's incredibly fast. Now, as an example, we worked with Memrise. They're a developer who uses the camera to identify objects and speak them in multiple languages. And in the past, they would train their model with 20,000 images, and it would take them 24 hours to do so. Well, now, with CreateML, they can train that same model in 48 minutes on a MacBook Pro. And on an iMac Pro, it's just 18 minutes. And what's even more incredible is that model, in the past for them, was 90 megabytes, and now it's just 3 megabytes. It's a huge difference. Now, we also are making models run much faster on device using CoreML2. Now, CoreML is our technology for high-performance on-device machine learning, and now it's better than ever. It's 30% faster in on-device processing using a technique called batch predictions. And you can reduce your model size by up to 75% using quantization. And so that's CoreML and CreateML. You no longer have to be an expert in machine learning to build those techniques into your app. Now, these technologies are redefining what's possible in apps, and they're common not just to Mac OS, but also to iOS. And the fact that the Mac and iOS share so much technology has led people almost every year to keep asking us the question, are you merging iOS and Mac OS? So I'd like to take a moment to briefly address this question. No. Of course not. We love the Mac because and we love Mac OS because it's explicitly created to the unique characteristics of Mac hardware, like the ergonomics of the keyboard and the trackpad, the flexibility in displays and storage, and because of the power it exposes, it makes the Mac able to accomplish almost anything. So we think that this question is actually coming from something else. You know, Mac users have access to a rich set of great native applications, apps that take full advantage of the power of Mac technologies. But Mac users also use apps based on other technologies. We routinely access web-based experiences like Netflix that build on WebKit, the standards-based web technology in Safari. And we also run sometimes cross-platform games built on technology like Metal. And all of these platforms enrich the Mac user's experience. But we think there's room for one more. And so we'd like to give you a sneak peek of a multi-year project we have going on, because we see a huge opportunity for the Mac to tap into the world's most vital app ecosystem. It's called iOS. I think you might be familiar with it. Now, there are millions of iOS apps out there, and we think some of them would be absolutely great on the Mac, and Mac users would love to have them there. And from a technical standpoint, it's actually a really good fit, because from day one, iOS and macOS have shared common foundations. But iOS devices and Mac devices, of course, are different, and the user interfaces are somewhat different, and so the frameworks underneath are as well. And that makes today porting an app from one to the other some work. Well, we wanted to make this much easier. And so we've taken some key frameworks from iOS and brought them to the Mac. And we've adapted them to specific Mac behaviors, like use of trackpad and mouse, window resizing, integration of things like copy and paste and drag and drop into the system services on the Mac. Now, phase one of this effort is to test it on ourselves. So this year in macOS, we've taken some of our own iOS apps, and we've brought them to the Mac using this technologies to make sure it works well. You've actually heard about several of them earlier today. And it turns out they make fantastic Mac apps, and we were able to bring them to the Mac with very few code changes. Now, this is going to be coming to you developers next year, so you can easily bring your iOS apps to the Mac. And in the meantime, we hope you enjoy news, stocks, voice memos, and home in Mojave. Now, we're really excited about Mojave. From desktop stacks to Finder with gallery view, to enhanced screenshots and markup, news and home on the Mac for the first time, stocks, and of course, the redesigned Mac App Store. And of course, there's even more. Like APFS now supports Fusion and hard drives, and Safari tabs can now have favicons if you want them there. And, of course, group FaceTime. So that's macOS Mojave. I hope you like it. I'm going to hand it back to Tim. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Craig. Thank you, Craig. What a huge update to macOS, and what an extraordinary morning. We got started with iOS 12 with all new capabilities, including taking AR further than ever before, bringing Siri to any app with Siri shortcuts and screen time, and cool new communication features like Memoji and group FaceTime, and watchOS, now with walkie-talkie, activity competitions, new workouts, new Siri capabilities, and so much more. And Apple TV 4K, now with Dolby Atmos, some great new partnerships, and the ease of zero sign-on. And you're going to really love those new aerial screensavers. And macOS Mojave, with all new dark mode, great updates to desktop and Finder, enhanced privacy and security, and a completely redesigned Mac App Store. The updates will be available to our users this fall, and there will be developer betas for each of them after the keynote this morning. Thank you. Now, before we close, we wanted to celebrate you and the amazing work that you do. So we went out and talked to some of the most important people in your lives, the ones that know you the best. And we made a short video, and I'd love to run it for you now.
I don't have any idea at all how to create an app. I don't understand any of it.
Thank you.
Ask me another question.
My son is a developer at Robinhood.
My daughter Jyoti is a WWDC 2018 scholarship winner.
My brother started and founded Yelp.
Oleo.
Timeless.
One drop.
Splitter critters.
Homer.
Homer. You gotta look at her.
My brother Derek created the app, Refugees and Immigrants, the Creative. The Collective. Why did I say the Creative?
At Christmas time, when most kids maybe would want skis or something, he wanted computer books. He stayed in his bedroom making games while the other kids were outside playing.
And when she's really doing the coding, almost always we have to tell my daughter to stop. But then my daughter would be like, just give me another 10 minutes. You know, I want to get this solved first.
When I watch him code, his eyes move in a weird way, and he's like totally focused. Even when my friends are over, I'd say, well, look at Christopher, look at him, and they'd go, wow.
When he first came to us with the idea, we were like, okay, good luck. He started off in his small little one-bedroom apartment with next to nothing and sacrificed eating a burger and just have ramen just so that he could, and I'm like, just buy the burger. And he's like, no, that's $3 that I could put towards the app.
Jeremy went out to build the first version of Yelp, and it was a total bust, total failure.
She tried really hard on a couple different titles, and you've never heard of them. And, you know, that's a really rough feeling.
That was definitely a low point for Jeremy, because it was like, hey, we got to retool and try again. What Jeremy did notice in the data was that people loved writing comments. And that was really the genesis of the second version of Yelp, which worked.
You have to be really okay with waking up to failure. And then at the end of a whole bunch of failures is something that's great.
Tessa didn't really think, I want to make an app. Tessa found a problem of food waste, which you could use the app to help to solve.
Emma's grandma was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. She even forgot my daughter's birthday. So Emma tried to search for an app that would help, but she couldn't find it. So she said, you know, why don't we just do it ourselves?
My husband was a diabetic. That inspired Jeffrey to do something about diabetes. And it's an answer to a lot of people's prayers.
Jesse won the iPhone Game of the Year. I couldn't believe that he made it. I mean, to me, it was remarkable.
She pulled out her cell phone, and I saw his app on her phone, and I was like, trying not to forget. Oh, gosh.
For my wife, it's not just creating, it's really wanting to be a part of something big.
The one lesson that I learned from Jeremy every day is just that determination, tenacity, the focus. He foresaw the impact that the iPhone was going to have. And he bet everything on getting an app for it. And I think that it was one of the most important things that Yelp did.
I think he's made a big difference, and so do thousands of other people.
She wants to not just learn, also teach others, and it makes me really proud to see her blossom.
And as a parent, no better thing is there than your kids do what they want to do. Because it isn't how much money you've made, it's really what changes you've left behind. And she's hoping to leave a lot of change behind.
I love that video. And I'm pleased that some of the developers are in the audience this morning. Their stories are great examples of all of your passion and your creativity. We love the work you do and the impact that it has on the world. It inspires all of us at Apple deeply every day. On behalf of everyone at Apple, thank you. And I'd also like to thank everyone at Apple who made today possible. Days like this only come from years of effort and hard work and great sacrifice. And so I thank them and their families. Let's have an incredible week together. Thank you.